They were, I think that we worked through them. Obviously, same-sex relationships are illegal in Kenya, and you can get up to 14 years in prison. So I think my larger concern was how people would react, and the Kenyan government, and that came to play out because then they banned the film. So I think my fears were realized.
Did they ban the film after it was made? Were they aware that it was being made? Could you tell that community members were aware? And was there any fear or was there any fear on the part of the set? Were you worried how people were going to respond to seeing the set or the crew around shooting?
Well, what happens is you have to apply for a film license before you are allowed to make a film in Kenya. So we applied for a license, we got the license. That was great. And then it was...
Wait, no, they knowing full well what the story was when you applied for the license?
In theory.
Yeah.
In theory. I also believe that bureaucracy had a little to play in it. But in theory, yes, we applied for the film license. Everything we did above board, didn't break the law once to make the film. So we knew that we had met every criteria that we needed to meet to make the film. And it was only when the film was released that we started having concerns, or because we had to apply for a film for classification. And it's only when we applied for classification that we started to come into a couple of problems.
And what kind of problems? Obviously, you got banned, but what were the problems that initially came up? And I want to get into talking about the filmmaking itself in just a minute. Yeah.
Please. Well, the first thing that they said was the classification board said that if I changed the ending of the film, because I felt the ending was too hopeful, and if I could make the ending of the film more remorseful, then they would give me a rating and they wouldn't ban the film. So when I refused to change the ending of the film, that's when they banned it.
That's so fascinating because I would never say that the end of the film is remorseful, thankfully.
That's what they wanted.
But I also would not say that it's hopeful in a lot of ways. Fair enough. I mean, it's in a certain way, it's two young lovers who are deeply in love who cannot be together.
Yeah.
And that is a story. I mean, you could find hope in the sense that, yes, they will continue growing.
Spoiler alerts, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But people will come back and watch this after premieres. It's okay. But hopeful, I find that fascinating. What kind of hopeful message that did they want? Hopeful in the sense of...
No, they wanted a remorseful message.
Less hopeful, more remorseful.
Yes, they said if I could find a way that the film ends in a remorseful way, then they would not ban the film.
A kind of I'm sorry for being gay. What?
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
horrible.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there any part of you that were you just immediately like absolutely no way? Or did you have to kind of fight with yourself in any way because it could get released, more people could see it, and while maybe there would be this remorseful ending, there would still be representation of some kind on screen?
No, because even before I made the film, the one thing that I wanted to do, given that so much queer cinema that I've watched has had remorseful endings, it was the one thing that I didn't want for my film. I was very, very clear on that I truly believe that the right to love is the most basic human right. And at any point that we can support that and support a vision of the right to love, then we're on the side of good. So there was never a doubt in my mind that I would change the ending.